All right. Well, again, I want to thank everybody for coming on. We'll get a little bit into what I do as a business. But first, I want to thank Dan Brosman. He's at University of Wisconsin Oshkosh. I got connected with him last spring and got to sit in on a pitch competition, which working with some of the students and got to hear their great ideas and trying to move their startup forward or a small business idea. So Dan does a lot of stuff there for the small business development center there, and as well the Alta resource for entrepreneurs on the campus of the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh. So shout out to Dan. I know he's probably a busy man this week with school and startup week, but awesome guy, and he's from the area. So thanks again, Dan, for letting me present. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how to create a successful startup website. Now, there's going to be tips, there's going to be ideas for me, but just ideas that can get your business, whether it's already going or a startup, off on the right foot. Right? There's as we know of what's happened in the last 8 to 9 months, everybody's got to be online, right? We have to have some kind of online presence, whether you're a restaurant, whether you're even now with schooling, elementary kids are doing all their learning virtually. It's funny, we had my fiance's niece over probably about 2 weeks ago, and she's got all this Google meetups and Zooms, and she's clicking around. It's like, holy cow, here's a fourth grader that can, be on Zoom and see her classmates and see her teacher and do her homework from virtually. So it's been pretty incredible, even though how bad this has been for the last 8 or 9 months, the technology that's moving forward. So today we'll start here. This is my company, FS Web Centers in Oshkosh, our little logo. So if you ever see that FS in a circle, that's us. We work together with small business owners to gain a larger online presence. So our bread and butter is small to medium-sized businesses, right? We are a full web development company. We work in the area of Fox Valley, but we also can work remotely. We can build this websites all across the country for businesses. We can get a little bit more into my business. We actually opened in May of 2019. So I'm still pretty fresh, pretty new at being a business owner. My previous profession, I was a general manager at a custom apparel shop here in town for about 8 years out of college, right out of University of Wisconsin Oshkosh. So I was an account manager. I did the books. I did our website. I did all kinds of fun things like that. But in May, I wanted to be a business owner and took the leap of faith. And here we are about a year and a half in with my web development company. So like I said, we are a full custom web development company. We have a full design and development team behind me. My team is actually located remotely. It's located in Las Vegas, Nevada. But being the business owner, I could leverage my time. If there's a smaller website job, whether it could be maybe a small landscaping company, I can build the website myself. If it's something a little larger, a little scale, maybe looking to 50 to 100 employees, we can have our team build that for us, where I can then act as a project manager. So I can see all the content going in and out. I can make sure the customer is getting the deadlines that was promised, things like that. So it's pretty cool that I can oversee all sides of my business, and I still do like enjoying building the websites myself as well. But I know that I need to go out and get more sales and leverage our development team to work directly with the customer. So it's been pretty fun. We just launched a new website, I think about 4 weeks ago. If you want to search that, it's starstruckartistry.com. That's a wedding to go business where she goes to the weddings and does her hair and makeup, things like that. So pretty cool website there. That's starstruckartistry.com if you want to check that out. That was our latest build. So I wanted to kind of start basic here. When you're doing a startup company or a small business company, you got to have a landing page, right? So even if you're just starting up, maybe 2 or 3 weeks in, you got to have a page where people can find you, whether that's getting potential capital investors, whether that's creating some buzz around town, whether getting an email list from potential future customers, things like that. You got to have a landing page so they can click on that link and get to, it doesn't have to have a ton of tabs off of it, but it might just be a solid first page that knows, hey, we are here, we're online, and we're ready for the future. So things like that. For startups, like I said, you don't need to have a lot of information on there. I like to use this example. One of my favorite shows of all time is Bar Rescue, right? John Taffer, who is just an incredible businessman, has saved over 100 bars and purchased them and sold them. And now he's a TV personality. But if you ever watched his show, he always said, when he went into a bar to update it, right, to fix it, these bars are struggling. They're on the brink of closing. You got to change their brand, right? You got to change what hasn't been working for previous years. And his first thing that he does is he goes out to their front sign and puts a big tarp over it. But he doesn't just cover the tarp, he'll put top secret on the sign, right? So then when cars are driving by, they're seeing, wow, what is that? He's got people talking before the bar is even reopened, before it's even rebranded. That's what we need to do for your business or your startup, right? So even if it's a page that has your business or your startup idea, put a top secret, put a coming soon, grow some excitement online for your potential customers down the road, or investors, especially for startups, to get them excited. So I love using that John Taffer Bar Rescue signage example, I like to call it. But on that landing page, if you can start with a small video, 30 to 45 seconds, I recommend, where it could be just a camera of your introduction, of people saying, hey, my name is Dan Spambauer. I'm the owner of FS Web Centers Oshkosh. We're getting ready to launch our business in the coming 60 days or month or whatever you guys, how far out you are. But the key to this, having a video on the page, is it's going to keep that person who has clicked on your website there for 30 to 45 seconds, right? Now, here's a tip for you that people might not know. Google actually tracks how long people stay on your website for, right? So let's say if you click on a restaurant and you're on there for a minute, whether you're scrolling through the menu, whether you're scrolling through some, specials, anything like that, you actually get raised up by Google because it's considered a good, friendly user experience on that website because you've been on there for more than 30 seconds. I mean, how many websites have you been on where you might just click through it? Oh, that's not what I was looking for, and click off, right? Google actually tracks how long customers or people who are searching your website stay on your website. So that's why I always recommend putting something on there that will keep those people on for at least 45 seconds, or 30 seconds to help raise naturally, organically in Google without spending a dime with that. And then, of course, use your official logo and slogan. Make it easy to see, make it something memorable. Now, I got a very simple logo, FS with a circle, and it's purple. But now people recognize, they're like, oh, that's Dan's company. Oh, that's FS Web Centers. Keep it simple. You don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get a professional logo done. There's definitely ways around that to get your brand off to the right foot, I should say. Let's see here. So finding the right platform. I'm going to move my video here. Here's our the 4 or 3 major platforms, and then my platform that I use, right? So there's positives and negatives to all of them, right? Let's start with WordPress. WordPress is great for first-time builders, right? There's a lot of people, a lot of my customers first started on WordPress. It's great. It's easy to use. It's very inexpensive. But the problem is with WordPress is what I've run in the past clients saying, unless you order with the top content package or top price point, WordPress actually owns all your content, right? So if you decide down the road, you have a pretty good business going, but you're on that basic WordPress, platform, and you're paying, a lower fee. If you decide to switch over to a different platform, you'll have to start over. WordPress will not transfer that over. They will pull that content, and you no longer own that anymore. So that's the one kind of downside on WordPress. But I'm not knocking any of these, but that's a major concern, right? Especially for startups who are going to build and build and build as we go along. Wix. Great platform for template building, right? So easy templates where you can say, hey, here's a yoga studio template. We can plug it in. You can plug your person's name in there or your company's name, put videos on there, things like that. Where Wix will become an issue is you have to pay for a lot of the add-ons. So as you grow, again, you're going to have to pay more and more and more, whether you want to add unlimited, email addresses connected to it, whether you want to add more content, whether you want to add client logins with passwords. So that's the issue with Wix. GoDaddy. I do my web address is through GoDaddy, the hosting. It's a great great platform for e-commerce, trustworthy, secure. They do a lot of things where if people are running credit card transactions through debit card transaction. I think they even have like, some of the digital currency, the Bitcoin, connected through PayPal. Excellent platform for that. I've never personally used GoDaddy, but the issue that I've heard from other people is the customer service isn't very great. A lot of sitting on the phone for 45 minutes to an hour, trying to get, simple fixes and changes done for the customer support. So that's kind of the knock on that. And for our platform, which I use, that's where the FS is called Oasis. So our platform is unlimited add-ons. We have e-commerce capable, and we're very user-friendly. So it's not only me that can build the website, it's not only our development team that can build the website, it can be the business owner, it can be the startup, it can be the founder of that company that can actually go in and build the website and add things, as you progress throughout your startup. The downside is though, it's only available for our customers. So you're not going to be able to search Oasis on Google like Wix and WordPress. You actually have to go through me to get that platform. But that's not always a bad thing, right? I can definitely help you with that transition. But it's more of a private-based platform is how I should word it. So I want to talk a little bit about responsive websites. These are the most key to building a successful website, right? So responsive websites look really great. They're very user-friendly on all laptops, cell phones, tablets. So what that means, for example, let's say you go on to a farmer's market website, for instance. Looks great on your laptop, right, or your MacBook. But then you go and search it on your iPhone, and all of a sudden you're zooming in with your fingers. Have you ever done that where you have to I can't see it, and it's zooming in? That means that website is unresponsive. Now the issue with that is it's not very user friendly, right? And it also actually connects with all the search engines and crawlers. So if a website's not very responsive, you're going to end up being naturally, organically put lower on the search engines, because what Google will see is they'll say, man, this isn't, this website's not hitting these points, right? They're not hitting the time that customers are spending on there. They're searching more things. They're zooming in on features. It can read it. Google tracks our whole life, basically. It's always tracking things when it comes to data. So like I said, and that was kind of an example of a non-responsive website. Also a very good thing for restaurant owners out there, bar owners. If you're searching for a restaurant, have you ever been on your laptop when you're on the road and all of a sudden you have to click the menu and the menu downloads as a PDF? That is non-responsive. Most menu items and things like that should be easy to scroll on your iPhone or tablet. It should never be downloaded as a separate PDF. Like we said, also, have you ever been on a website that, for instance, locks up a lot, right? It might have really long pauses. Those websites may be responsive, but there's something going on in the background, right? So that's where some of those platform issues come in, where it could be anything from not paying for the top WordPress site, anything from not having an add-on feature on Wix. Little things like that the platforms are sneaking in for user experiences and payment options as well. So remember, responsive websites naturally help SEO. And when I say naturally, that means that you're not actually paying SEO price. It's actually naturally for free moving yourself up on the search engine for your site. Connecting your social media links to websites. I can't stress this more enough. Some people love social media, some people hate social media, right? But you have to be on Facebook as a business. You have to be on Instagram. Now that Facebook and Instagram are so well connected, it's naturally not to. So create a Facebook business page. Even if you haven't already have a website, you can connect your website into there. But Facebook is another great naturally SEO, where if people are searching your business, yes, your website might come up, but your business page will also come up. So this is going to connect your markets, right? This using hashtags on your Instagram. For instance, so a lot of people have been asking me questions on Instagram or for Instagram, because we actually do full social media packages where we go in and we can take over your whole social media accounts for your business. But for instance, when posting on Instagram, use photos that are real pictures, right? I tend to do it on my personal Instagram, where you might put a cool quote, things like that, or fonts. But actually Instagram wants real facial recognition. So even if it's, a picture of the tonight's special, have the waiter or waitress or the chef holding that plate of food, because that's going to track that facial recognition, and that's going to come back to Google, which can come back to your hashtags, which is going to come back to your business, right? So you want to get more shares on that. I know we're in a society of getting Instagram likes and things like that. Yes, that is important, but we want to search the correct hashtags. We want people searching in the area. Always list what city your business is in. Always list what state your business is in. Also, always add what industry you're in, and then you can add fun things on the side. For instance, when I post some fun things for my company, I always add Oshkosh. I always add Wisconsin. I actually also tag UWO. I tag small business owners. Just little things like that. You never know where that reach is going to get to. And that's always naturally, it's always organic ways to try to get your business to a bigger reach. Big question I always get is hey Dan, how many times a week should I post on my social media pages? Really, it should be 2 to 3 times a week. There's certain times a day, there's certain days, but you want to keep current on that. And there's ways to search that on Google where different algorithms and things like that, they do change over time. But don't overpost, right? Don't be so consistent. You want to be consistent, but don't overpost, right? I can also put some out on my website too. I think like today, like this week's, I saw like Thursdays afternoons at 2 p.m. were good times, which is almost an hour from now. So if you have a website, post something or a social media post, but it's constantly changing, right? It's the internet. We're always changing. It's always evolving. And again, this is free. Utilize these. There's Facebook market ads, which I highly suggest still if you want to put some money into advertising. They are still way, way underpriced for advertising for the reach that you can get. And if you don't believe me, believe Gary V. He is totally in on Instagram and Facebook ads because of the reach and the target markets that you can truly hit with those. Another thing I want to chime in on was Google business pages, right? So I actually just did this, which I should have did this a long time ago, but create a Google business page. This is free. Google will send you a postcard with a little like 5-digit code after you sign up. And about 5 or 6 days later, you'll get it in the mail, snail mail, to confirm. And then you go on, you type that code into the authentication link on your Google My Page, and that will actually confirm your business. So why is this important? This is important because if you could see my picture there, have you ever searched a business and then that little side business pops up? That's what we want, right? Especially for, newer businesses. We want, the new pizza place in town we want that to come up on the side, whether we have a keyword or not in there. That also is going to tell your updated hours. That's going to give your phone number. If you could see here on the appointments, I added the Calendly, my scheduling app right on there. So that's actually going to send it right to my scheduling app if anybody wants to do appointments. You can change hours very easily. You can call right from that button. It's just, Google just keeps evolving into such great things. So utilize this. You actually also get free SEO statistics with that as well. So this, again, you still need a website. You still need a solid website, but have your Google page listed as well, because Google is still king. Like I said, again, this is naturally going to organically help your SEO ratings and try to raise you on those rankings naturally without paying any money. And remember, we need to have your users, clients, and potential customers stay on your site for at least 30 seconds. And this is, again, is going to help the rise in the ranks for user compatibility on Google. So highly recommend, if you haven't done this with Google My Business, definitely do that. A little bit about SEO services. Now, a lot of business owners, I remember at my previous job, I would get probably, 2 to 3 SEO service calls a week with services saying, hey, we can, you could pay this monthly fee to, rise your website in 30 days. If you build the website right with the specific keywords, most of these platform builders have an SEO tool built in because they're going to be responsive websites, right? You shouldn't have to pay a monthly SEO fee, right? If it's done correctly the first time. Now, this could change over time. You might want to hit different markets, things like that. But the first time, you should always with the keywords, with your area of reach, whether you might be a local plumber and only want to reach 50 miles of service from where you're located. But then maybe later on down the road, you want to be 100 miles out because you have a bigger crew. Then it can change. Then we can change that up. But that monthly SEO fee is highly overrated. Do not pay that at any means, because if it's done correctly the first time, you should be safe. Few additional tips. These are fun ones. So when you're putting pictures onto your website, name the pictures. Now, what I mean by this, if you could see my example, Oshkosh website JPEG. Now that could be a picture of me in my suit coat, being as the business owner, but see that Oshkosh website. If anybody searches Oshkosh website onto Google, my picture is going to come up in the Google images, which then connects to Google. So just little tips like that. Now, is this a little time consuming? Of course, because most time people just place JPEGs out there and says a bunch of random numbers or letters like that. But just another simple way, you want as many keywords that are pulling from Google for all time, because you never know where that next customer is going to come from when they're searching online. Collect visitor emails. I highly recommend utilizing free Google Forms, or use a contact form, that tool that might be built into your website, that actually forwards to your email, right? That can forward to a Gmail account, that can forward to an email that's attached to your website, that can, or Yahoo, anything. A lot of tools do that these days, where it actually forwards to your email. But you want to collect those visitor emails for a few reasons. One, potential customers, right? Down the road, right? You might not be in business right now, but now you got your first newsletter you're ready to send out, or your first, CRM email. Now you got already research or client list ready to roll. The other thing is you can always go back and update into the address books, right? So we can see where people are coming in from your website. You can kind of say, hey, we got a lot of people coming in from the Appleton area. Maybe we can start marketing there a little bit more with Facebook ads, or naturally taking SEO, saying, hey, let's get another 10 miles up north, because it seems like that Greenville area is really starting to gain some traction. Highly recommend using collecting emails. Videos are good, like I said, on the first page, just to keep that user-friendly experience, but those will not connect anything to Google searches, right? Pictures will connect to Google searches, videos will not. Just because I don't know why that is, but maybe put your videos on a YouTube page, right? That connects to your business. And then that YouTube page is another thing that Google will see. Name the business page, FS Web Centers business. And then all of a sudden somebody types that into Google. Now your website comes up, now your Facebook page comes up, and now your YouTube page comes up. So those are three different options for your one business page that you have. Creating a blog. We have on our platform have an awesome connecting blogging tool. I'm not a big writer. I like to talk in front of the camera, or do short videos, things like that. But blogs are huge. People enjoy reading blogs. Barstool Sports started as a newspaper, went digitally to a blog, and now they're a multi-billion-dollar company, and now they're doing all kinds of content. But that started as a blog, whether they were writing about movies, whether they were writing about business, whether they're writing about the stock market. All those things come into play with that blog tool, where then Google can search your business again, can connect you to your personal blog, can connect you to your business blog. Just so many different avenues that you can take when wanting people to find you or your business. And then utilizing Facebook likes and comments. If you're trying to support local businesses or trying to get your business up, go in and comment on somebody else's business page, follow their business page. More than likely, that business is going to follow you back. Comment on little Facebook groups. All that stuff will naturally, organically, I should say, help you gain customers, gain likes, gain followers, all for nothing, all for putting in some time each day and doing that on your social media. So kind of wrapping things up, we'll get to questions in a second here. If anybody, I'll check the chat, but I want to thank everybody. I wanted to keep this quick, but yet, make this valuable for you. But for, coming on today, feel free to contact me. You got my business cell, my email. You'll see my website on there. But if you have a website or are interested in a website, feel free to book a 1 hour complimentary consult anytime. It's not really a consult. It'll be more me getting to know you, me getting to know your business or your startup. I wish I wanted to name it a coffee meetup because I love coffee. I got my coffee right here. But as the world we're in right now, it might have to be through Zoom. So that's why I said that. But it really is just a get to know your business type thing and how I can help you in any way. So those are all my contacts. Let's check the chat real quick. Let's see. We are Marquette. Love it. Yeah, my favorite basketball team coming up season in 2 weeks. Hopefully we'll play on that. Let's see here. We got one question. I don't know if I can pull this up. Oh, it's not letting me pull up the question. Maybe I'll stop my share here. Okay, so we have a question from Brittany. Are these the only platform options or just the most popular? Excellent question. These are the three most popular. There's a ton of platforms out there, but when it comes to, you can check a lot of the blogs on there or a lot of the startup web pages. It's almost, I would say 80% of the time, it's going to be one of those three platforms just because they're big, they're large companies, things like that. But there's other platforms out there. And if you can do some research on there, they're all different price points. They're all different hosting fees. There's all different things that people can actually use when it comes to blogging tools, to SEO tools. You just got to find one that you feel most comfortable with. So great question. On Caleb, our Wix website runs pretty slow. Any recommendations for speeding it up? Yeah, that's where you're going to come into what platform payment plan you're on. I hate to say it, but that might be a part of it because that's when storage comes into play. So if you have a lot of videos, if you have pretty high traffic on your website already, you're probably on a smaller engine from Wix. So you might want to upgrade that on the engine just to get more a faster result. But Wix is pretty good with response. All their websites are responsive, so that's not a bad thing at all. But I would probably contact Wix to see what type of platform you're on and what type of system you're running on, because you might be pretty close to the content limit for the RAM and things like that to get your website going any faster. So another excellent question. Any other questions today? Otherwise, I wanted to keep it under a half hour or to a half hour because there's so many great presentations today and the rest of the week from all over the state. So I want to thank everybody for being on today. Again, feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your business already or your potential startup, and I'd be glad to help you guys in any way. So on that, signing off, Ferris Bueller mug. Have a great rest of the week and stay well and stay safe.